Hey everybody, this is TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Transformers Studio Series Autobot Hot Rod from the 1968 Transformers animated movie. It's been like, I want to say a decade since I've gotten a Transformers figure. I used to be really into them, but then when I started getting into lines like Marvel Legends and other DC figure lines, as well as Star Wars Black Series, I was just collecting a lot of stuff. And Transformers I kind of grew out of, but it always had a special place in my heart, and Hot Rod is one of my favorite Transformers, so I am very glad to have this new Hot Rod here, because I did have the Transformers Classics one for many years ago, and hopefully this one here is not really a substitute since I still have that figure, but something that could kind of hit the nostalgia factor with both that figure and the movie. So let's go ahead and talk about the packaging. It's very well done in the top here. It does say Takara Tomy. It does have an Autobot logo there that says Generations. On the side, it does say Transformers. Of course, you got to see the figure with some of the contents. A really nice illustration of Hot Rod there. It says 86 and number 4. Transformers the movie, Studio Series Autobot Hot Rod, ages 8 and up, and Hasbro. On the top, it's just a window box with a little bit of blue up there, mostly black, and it does say Transformers the movie. On this side here, it does say 86 and number 4 again. It says Studio Series in the image of Hot Rod again. It does say Voyager Class. And then on this side, it's a bigger illustration of Hot Rod right there, and it does say 86 and the authentic Transformers little logo right there. And then when we look on this side here, you can see a couple of read-ups. It's mostly about the line and about the movie, of course. You can see the figure and some of the different poses, and of course the alt mode and whatnot. Transformers the movie, Autobot Hot Rod, excuse me. And then it does say backdrop included, 29 steps, Hot Rod lights the darkest hour. And on the bottom here, there's a barcode. So let's just go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here's the figure out of the packaging, and honestly, this brings me back to when I was younger and collecting these guys. Like, seriously, this is an awesome, really well done figure. I don't know if I'll get back to the Transformers line, but it is nice to have a fairly accurate to the movie Hot Rod here. It looks really awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that this figure comes with, and we'll take a closer look at the figure. So this figure comes with instructions, and I'm going to leave some images of my instructions here in case you lose yours or you just need to take a look at them during this video. I was actually able to transform this figure pretty well without them. I did have to look a couple times, but it's a pretty simple transformation. I would still take a look at these if you have them, though. Other than that, we do have some alternate accessories, some weapons, as well as this backdrop that is part of the packaging. And first of all, I want to talk about the Matrix of Leadership. They did a great job overall, I think, with this sculpt. It is just sculpted and molded really well. The silver and gold paint, it kind of looks more bronze, but it's just this nice metallic paint throughout, and the translucent blue is all really great. It's hollowed out on this side here. It allows for light to shine through, so it kind of looks like, it's glowing, which is just really cool. We do have this effects piece right here, which is a nice translucent blue sculpt, kind of has this crystallized effect here. It has these tabs, as you can see. So basically, you just kind of clamp it around your matrix, and it looks like it's shining through. So that's really cool. We do have this buzzsaw hand, and this is meant for the left hand. Pretty much what you gotta do is you gotta flip around the left hand, which will reveal a peg, and then you just slip this thing on there. It is a little tight to get on there, but it will fit on there nice and snug, and I really like the overall sculpt. The paint on this part here is a little plainish. It's not even painted. It's just molded in this purple, and it is painted with this buzzsaw here. It does spin. There's a big ugly 2 on there, though. This side doesn't have anything, but overall, it could look a little better. It doesn't really look like a saw, but I guess they didn't want to make it look too violent. So overall, the silver paint on here is pretty nice. We do have these 2 blasters, and these are a different sculpt, which they just did a great job sculpting these. And as you can see with these big red pegs, the hands actually have articulated fingers, so you just hinge them out, and the hands, they fit a certain shape with the guns here. So you just basically, they'll just stay in place no matter what. This gun here looks really nice with the silver paint. They did a really great job with the sculpting as well. This one is a similar but not the exact same sculpt. They did a really great job. It does have weapon storage for other places on the back, which I'll show off later. And man, this just looks awesome. Last but not least, I believe these are the same mold. If not, they're the same exact sculpt. But we have these blue translucent effects pieces. These will go on the forearms. You just plug them into the pipes on his arms, and they'll fit in there pretty nicely. Overall, these things are really nicely sculpted, and the translucent blue comes through really well. With weapon storage, you have these little tabs right there on the back. As you can see, I already have one of the guns in there. You just take the other tab of the gun, which I have a feeling the silver paint may chip off in here. Hopefully it doesn't happen too much, but it fits like that. And then you can actually fit the buzzsaw over both weapons like so. So it allows for a lot of options for weapon storage. And here's just a nice look at the backdrop. It looks like the inside of Unicron right there. It just looks really cool. We do have right there where it says Authentic and Transformers. It says Generations right there with the Autobot sign. And it does say Transformers the movie right there. So overall, it's really cool that they did include this type of display base right there. Also, you can flip this hand around. And I don't exactly remember what he did with this in the movie, but I vaguely have an idea. It could have been for some type of tool or something, but basically both hands have different functions because this one can turn around again, and it has a peg for that saw hand, which is pretty awesome. Now moving on to the actual figure, and one complaint I used to have with Transformers is that sometimes it seemed like they, gave up some of the accuracy of the character's design in favor for the transformation. But this thing, man, my God, for it's a Takara Tomy figure, but also a Hasbro figure, man, this thing, it just looks like it came out of the movie almost. It is extremely well done, especially that head sculpt. That just looks like the 80s Rodimus, Hot Rod, whatever you want to call them. That is fantastic. Those blue eyes right there, the sculpt, man, it's so good. They also did a great job with the Autobot symbol, and then we do have this kind of like this fire paint deco right there. They did a great job with a lot of different areas. It's mostly molded in blue. I think some areas have some orange molded in there. Definitely the legs are molded in orange. But there is some painted orange in like the hands and whatnot. Some silver also painted on the head right there. Man, that sculpt again just looks so good. Some silver up in here. Really nice lines and whatnot going on throughout the rest of the arms. The silver piece right here, I believe, is painted. Otherwise, I think it might be, I don't know. It definitely looks painted, but I don't know if it's molded in, it's got to be molded in silver. Like, I forget that it's all one separate piece that they end up combining with the little metal pins, as you can see there. So, yeah, I was having a trip for a second. I was like, what's going on with the paint and what's molded, what's painted? So that's painted silver, but it is molded in gray. The gray on the hands looks pretty okay. It looks a little plain, but the sculpt is pretty alright. We do have some nice lines throughout the legs. I don't know how accurate this is supposed to be, but these yellow joints on the knees, the orange is supposed to be. And then we get down to what kind of looks like purple. I have no idea what some of these colors are supposed to be, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate. These bottom part of the legs, these look great. Man. It seriously, again, it looks like it came out of the movie, man. It's awesome. Now the back kind of leaves more to be desired because this is, I guess, how they kind of make up for an accurate front, is to kind of put more of the transformed stuff inside the figure and on the back. You can see these screws right there. And then this is really the only thing I have a problem with throughout this figure. Two things. One, which you'll get to see later, this figure's kind of small. Two, the back fin, I think, is supposed to be a little smaller. It doesn't look horrible though, and I think the sculpt is overall pretty well done. So I'm not super complaining. That's not even proper grammar. I'm not going to super complain there, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it just looks a little too big. But overall, It's not looking too bad. It does have this cool feature here. You lift up the head, and then this visor piece pops down. Push that back down, and man, that just looks awesome. Now, articulation on this thing is actually pretty good. It does have this ball peg here, so it can swivel. The up and down. The up is pretty good, but the down is eh. The head pivot is also kind of meh. And then going in and out like this, and then it does rotate here. So it won't look the most natural. Sometimes, like with Marvel Legends, like it will look fine, but just not like a Marvel Legend, of course, because transformation and robot parts are getting in the way. It does have a swivel here at the elbow. We do have a single joint elbow that bends a little bit more than 90 degrees. It does have a swivel at the hand and the articulated hands, as you can see there. This does have a waist twist. We do have T-joint legs. They go forward, sort of back, in and out. We do have the upper thigh swivel. And this actually has a single joint knee and a double joint knee. And by that, it can bend here, which actually bends really well. And then it can actually bend 2 places here. But I actually think the single joint bend, it's about the same, actually. To me, the single joint bend just kind of looks like it cuts a little deeper. What else do we have? We do have feet that can go, it's a little bit hard to move, but they do go down and up. And they actually do have a bit of a pivot going this way. Not much going this way, unfortunately. Now, it's a lot easier to transform this than I thought originally. I'm going to try to go over this as quick as I can. You basically pull this part, rotate it a little bit, then you can pull out the chest, lift this part up, and then this actually will swivel. Now push in the head. These tabs right here will lock into a little groove going on here in the chest, and then leave that alone for now. The legs can be a little tricky. I like to flip that back around. Basically rotate the entire lower half of the torso, flip these parts out where they're basically being, buried into the back of the legs right there. You want to push the feet down too. One thing I do forget to mention is that you have to push in the bottom leg up to the thigh and then push that around. So I do apologize. Kind of messed that up a little bit. I always actually forget to do that. I've only transformed this, this is my 3rd time transforming this. I forget every time. What else am I forgetting? Because this thing is not working. Basically, yeah, just wrap it around the upper thighs and eventually start pushing things in, and it should lock into place. You can kind of push the legs together for now, but they won't click together until you flip this back around. And then these will be connected basically like so. And lots more pushing and clicking. Now just bring the arms around here, and then you're going to actually, this little tab right here that goes under the arm, flip that, rotate the pipes around, and that way all of the pipes are connected, and that this covers the hand right there. You're going to want to do the same for the other side right there. Might need to push my hand a little bit more. There we go. I'll try to push in everything before I finish off the entire transformation. Last thing you want to do is at least try, I don't know why it's going to be trouble, flip up the hood, flip these pieces around, and push that back in. Push every piece in together just to make it look a little bit more uniform, and there you go. It's actually a very simple transformation. And the alt mode is actually really nicely done. It looks very much like how it did in the movie. And, you could definitely tell some of the seams because it's a Transformer. It's really not that big of a deal. Again, this is just a little small. I feel like it should be a little bit bigger, at least compared to this. This thing is pretty... I don't remember it being this big, honestly. I could be completely wrong, and this could be 100% accurate. But the only thing is just like, this thing to me is more of a deluxe class. When it's marketed as a Voyager class, it's also $30. Mine's a little uneven right now just because of how I transformed it, but it does roll relatively well, and it just looks great, especially the translucent. Now you can see his head in there, so that's a little iffy, but everything about this just looks great. Nice silver going on right there on the front of the car. You have the translucent windshield. The pipes that go together look awesome. You can see the tires too. Have a little bit of silver in there. And a little bit of black. I mean, the rest of the tires doesn't really look good because of how the black is molded. Is what I was trying to say. But overall, it's just a really well done alt mode. So sadly, I don't have any other Transformers to do size comparisons right now. And if I did, they'd all be pretty old. Some stuff from like before 2014, I think. But just to give you an idea of how tall this figure is, it doesn't really scale with other lines, of course, because it's supposed to be its own thing. But you can see on the right just how short it is compared to a retro collection Marvel Legends Spider-Man. And then on the left there, that is the SH Figure Arts Ultra Instinct Goku. So this thing is about in the 5-inch range when it's in the robot mode. So overall, I mean, nostalgia might be kicking in, but this is seriously an impressive figure. I know I haven't gotten many Transformer figures over the years, but I mean, at least with the Studio Series here, if this figure represents what that line is basically all about, I might have to get more just from that line, because man, it is such a well done figure that balances the movie accurate details of the body and sculpt with a great transformation that is simple enough to do, but is still pretty fun. I've done it like 4 or 5 times on my own. It still doesn't get old. A lot of great accessories, pretty much everything you need with this version of Hot Rod, and overall it's just a really well done figure. My only issue is that it's a bit small for its $30 price point. That's really the only problem I have. I am fine with spending 30 bucks on this figure even with its size. It is extremely well done, like I keep saying, and I am very glad to have it in my collection. If you are a Transformers collector, if you think you have enough Hot Rods, I promise you, this one you're going to want to add to your collection. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I will see you guys later.